You know, I figured I might as well use this channel for something, and to be honest, I don't feel like making a thumbnail, I don't feel like editing down audio, I just kind of like want to come out and talk about something. Usually, if I was able to show my face on camera, which I cannot do, I would have a face cam, but I can't, so we're just gonna have gameplay of whatever I'm talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it's currently some Mario 64 DS. And when I was younger, I actually did not have like a phone, a tablet, an Xbox, a PlayStation 4, pretty much nothing. Like when I was growing up, I didn't have any of the hip and cool consoles. I was the Nintendo child, you know, transitioning into like the 2000s. Nintendo was no longer like, you know, the pinnacle of gaming like it was before. They had basically sold their soul with the GameCube. You know, 2000 we had the DS, which was incredibly hype. I still think the DS is one of the most technically impressive consoles for the time. I think it still holds up incredibly well nowadays. A lot of games on it, they don't want to say they're welcome because they did not have the capacity to be, you know, like mindless time sinks. You know, I'm gonna keep glazing the DS. It's not that great, but nostalgia does a thing for me. But back then, that's all I had. All I had was a DS. And as I've said, I didn't have like an iPad or anything, right? So when I encountered a problem in a video game, I had no way of solving it. So a lot of times I would end up throwing my head at a wall to try and figure out the solution to a problem when in reality there was nothing else to help me out. And it led to a lot of moments that I think is kind of lost on both, like, you know, adults in gaming and the current era, well, where we never have this aha moment, like, oh, so that's how you do that, right? So, you know, we go our entire lives trying to do things, and now that we're presented with, you know, our phone, if we ever encounter an obstacle in a video game, like it was stuck on it for more than 5 minutes, maybe somewhere along the lines, you know, we'll keep our integrity, be like, that's fine, I'll try and figure it out myself. But, you know, maybe you get past that problem, and then you don't want to do it again. You know, you encounter the next problem, your tolerance is lessened, and before you know it, literally any stumble you have, you go, well, fuck, I got work tomorrow at 5. Google, hey Siri, hey, how do you solve the puzzle in Ocarina of Time? You know, it is what it is, and that's just kind of what happens when you grow up. You get tools, you make use of those tools, and then things from back in the day are less of a challenge, right? And as an adult, that's an incredibly good thing. You know, it gives you the ability to experience the product without worrying about, oh fuck, how am I going to solve this? I don't want to spend another 3 hours. You know, I just got off work, just got done cooking, child at dance recital, I don't fucking know what you got going on. But you get done with all this, you go back to your video game thing you want to do to relax, and you just realize, I still don't know how to do this, right? And it's fine for that. But as a kid, nothing beats the pure fucking euphoria of realizing, oh, that's how you do it. And today I want to tell you guys about a moment I had back all the way in the day. So as I said, the DS, that was one of my first consoles. It's the reason why I eventually went on to love playing the, you know, video games as much as I do. And the first game, if not one of the first games I ever got, was a game called Mario 64 DS. And nowadays I can beat that entire game in, let's just be generous and say I can get all 150 stars in about 15 hours tops. Like, it won't take me very long. I know all the answers to all the puzzles. I know how to get all the characters. But back when I was a kid, I knew nothing. And on my first playthrough, I went through the entire game without unlocking Luigi or Wario. And to put into perspective how difficult doing something like that is, a lot of levels are built around having these characters. I think Hazy Maeve's Cave is a fucking nightmare if you don't have Wario, because a lot of stars borderline require him. And while there are workarounds to some extent, they often require having Luigi, and if you don't have Wario, then you probably don't have Luigi, because you can't get Wario without him, which meant I had to find a lot of workarounds on a first playthrough, and there was a lot of puzzles in the game where I explicitly knew I needed the character, but I could never figure out how to get him. So throughout my entire childhood, when I was playing this game, you know, I would constantly go through it, and I would have to skip stars that I didn't know how to get, because I didn't have the thing I need to get him, and there was no power-up cap anywhere in the level for me to cheese, you know, hopefully try and get it. And one day, this is the moment, I figured it out, and I will never forget how awesome it was. So for those who don't know, in Mario 64 DS, there is 4 characters. You know, the Ella's real statue, by the way, it doesn't say that, it says Eternal Star. But back in the day, Luigi wasn't actually in the game. Mario 64 DS, he was. And how you unlock him is when you're in the courtyard, there'll be a Boo's Haunt stage, right? And what you gotta do is you gotta go up to King Boo, and you have to ground pound him. And when you do it, it will unlock Boo's Haunt, which is a whole new stage. You go into that stage, you beat the first level. I don't think you have to. I think it is actually possible to triple jump all the way up to the pillar, but let's just pretend it's not. You beat the first level, then you go back in the second time, you climb the stairs that open after beating the first level, you take a right, and you go into this room, and this room is where the answer is. All throughout the level, there's a bunch of hints and suggestions that there is a roof of this place. I remember when I was playing as a kid and I beat the game for the first time and I saw the credits, there was a row of coins on top of Boo's mansion. And what's more is one of the stars you could eventually go on to get actually required you getting a star in the upper levels because it wasn't anywhere else. So there was always hints that it was there, but I could never figure out where it was. And one day I was playing through the game. I think it had to have been at least 2 years after I initially got the game. And as I was playing through it, I was going through like one of the hallway areas, and then I found, I don't know why in this moment, I still hadn't even figured out like the red block thing. So like it wasn't like I got the Mario power to let me fly up there. I still hadn't figured that out yet, so it's just a hollow box. But I found this area, and by pure fucking chance, it just so happened that as I was running through the area, I double jumped, and for a fraction of a second, I saw it. It was a ledge. I didn't know for sure if I saw it. So I spent the next 5 minutes, because I was a child and I was bad at video games, trying to like double jump, triple jump my way up there. And sure enough, I managed to get up, and I found a whole new level of the mansion that I never fucking knew was there. I felt like a rocket scientist. I felt for a small, I get chills thinking about it, for a small moment in my life, I was the smartest motherfucker in the world. The Harvard applications started rolling in, you know, the acceptance letters. NASA knocked on my door, asked me to join in. Eventually the euphoria wore off. They all remembered I was a 5-year-old, so it didn't matter anyway. But I started exploring the area, and I realized there's a Luigi painting in here. And if you know anything about Mario 64, you know why that's important. I jump in and I find a secret level where Luigi is, and oh my god, like the feeling of going through that dungeon and beating it, it wasn't hard, nowhere near as hard as the other one, but the feeling of going through that dungeon for the first time, confronting King Boo, beating him, and then the Luigi door key breaks out and I see it for the first time. I did that boss fight over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's how much I enjoyed that moment. Nothing in my gaming career ever will come close to that pure fucking euphoria in its rawest form that I got in that moment. And what's really funny, in order to get Wario, you first need to get Luigi, right? Well, I still hadn't figured out the light thing, right? You know, like I said, there was that button you had to press and it would make all the red boxes appear. Well, I still didn't figure that out. Fortunately, I could be wrong, but fortunately, I'm pretty sure you didn't even need that. If you just walked into that room with Luigi, the flowers are already there. So I pick that up. Luigi goes hollow. I walk into the Wario thing, and then, oh my god, here's Wario 2. Literally in a day, 3 years in the making, I managed to find the two characters that had otherwise entirely eluded me. Now, as for the red switch, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember how I figured that out. There might have been like an NPC somewhere, like one of the toads who you talk to, and when you talk to the toad, he tells you like, oh, you know, look up at the beacon or whatever. That might have happened. I don't think it did. If it did, I probably would have remembered it. I'm pretty sure it just so happened I was just fucking off like randomly one day, and I looked up and I just so happened to had found it. I'm pretty sure that's how I ended up finding that. But I was thinking about that moment recently because I've been on a nostalgic high playing a lot of old DS games, you know, Mega Man Star Force 3, Mario 64 DS, most recently Pokemon Conquest. I've been having a whale of a time, but in doing all of this, it kind of reminded me of like, you know, the good old days. Not to say that they were particularly fascinating. I would not go back if you paid me, don't get it twisted, but I mean, still, it was just kind of nice, you know, a nice little aha moment. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Like I said, this video is nothing special, but yeah, hope you guys take care of yourselves. Solo signing off. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and farewell.